Well, hello.
Hello.
La la la. Welcome to the
You didn't
Eric.
just watch that episode of Seinfeld, did you?
I
Hello.
don't know. It's the EriDan Film Festival, episode 119 for this, the 12th day of September 2022. I'm Eric Sheehan, reporting from Moon Township.
I'm Dan Rosenberg, reporting from Bainbridge Island, Washington.
How are things looking over there in Bainbridge Island?
It was smoky the past couple of days.
Ooh, wow.
Yes.
So this is the night we gather to talk movies. If you don't know, where have you been? This is the time. We want you to join us to talk. We've got lots to talk about tonight. I did some math. We're going to talk about some math later. That'll be fun too. But we're also going to talk movies with our wonderful panel of guests, which anybody can be a part of, right, Dan?
There's no qualifications other than having a mouth and a face and liking to watch movies.
And the face is kind of optional.
And the camera helps. You can use you don't even have to have a face. Well, you could just type if you want. You have to have fingers. Oh wow. You have to have fingers. That helps.
Yeah. You should join us. And so it's right there at EriDanLive.com. Of course, you can be in the comments. We'll have some people in the comments tonight. We're going to have some people join us live on with us, but we're going to talk movies and other stuff too. So should we get started?
Well, two things I want to say that were brought up in the private chat area. You're wearing Geneva garb. That's nice.
I am. That's I have not had a chance to change.
And B, you're not pixelated tonight. So whatever you did, don't do that.
I did a couple of things to try to see if I could get myself a little more clear. I'm more clear-headed tonight.
Nice.
And that doesn't mean I just shaved my head. So, but no, I good. I'm glad to hear that. I have a feeling, I have a feeling I know what the culprit was. So we'll see if it.
Can't wait to find out.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm glad that people can see me for who I really am.
Well, we always could.
All right.
So you're gonna bring people in. What are we doing here?
I think we should say hello to all the writers. Reagan and Stade, and you can wear the mask.
Oh yeah,
I love the hoodie. That's awesome.
Nice hoodie.
It's a whole onesie.
Oh, it's a whole
It's a whole suit.
You went all out.
Well, she just ran flying down to the basement. She's like, "I have a suit."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is, it's probably in your shed, in the area beneath your shed.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you came dressed for an evening of spider fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of spider fun, I'm going to do the other. It's Brighter Man.
Brighter man does whatever a brighter can.
True. I'm actually wearing Venom.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go change during one of these breaks. No, let's friggin' bring
One ring to the moon. One ring.
It's Brittany.
It is Brittany.
It is.
Hello.
And no spider attire from.
Nope. I won this yesterday in a Chinese auction, so I'm wearing it.
Really? Wow.
With a gift card to a local running shoe store.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Speaking of a running shoe store. Oh wait, I just brought him in. I didn't even push the button.
I'm sorry, Dave. This conversation can serve no purpose anymore.
Man, talk about a cold open.
That was cold and it was open.
We have another guest in the waiting room.
We have another guest, and I feel bad because I feel like she deserves her own opening, which I do not have prepared. So
we'll call this this is visit 4.5.
This is actually, I think this is visit 6, but Well, no, actually, I don't know many times she's been on the air. I know she.
Yeah, that's the key. Is how many times she's been on camera.
I don't know.
Right.
I'm gonna have to start marking these. She's voted a lot, but let's bring in Amanda.
Hello?
Hello.
We have two spots left.
Dig in the archives
Oh.
to figure out how many times you've actually been with us.
Yeah, I have no idea. So it's all good.
But we're so glad you're here.
Yeah, my movie was chosen, so it seems.
I know. So that's awesome. We appreciate you playing by the rules.
Yeah.
You did. You chose our movie, which is awesome. Shall we dive in? I think we should dive in.
Dive.
Into the Spider-Verse. So 2018, enter a universe where more than just one wears the mask. Starring a lot of people. We'll talk about that later. Directed by a lot of people. Written by a lot of people. $90 million budget. $376 million gross. Audience and the critics giving this lots of love over at Rotten Tomatoes. Amanda, you want to share why you chose, although it seems wildly popular,
Yeah.
choose this movie?
Sure. Yeah. Unsurprisingly, I love this movie a lot. I'm a big comic book fan. I read them. I was a big Green Lantern fan all through undergrad, and have been since then. I'm not dislike Marvel, but I've always been really a DC comic fan. The movies, of course, are more.
We'll forgive you for
that. And I really haven't seen I've seen a few Spider-Man movies, but I'm not really a big Spider-Man fan. But this movie is just amazing, and it does such a good job at capturing the comic book aesthetic in a movie. It is impressive how well they captured. Not even aside from all the amazing comic book effects and like the voices in his head popping up as text behind him and all the sound effects and everything, just the visual animation style of it is just so comic booky, and it's really very cool. The writing is great, the humor is great, the cast is amazing, the voice act, like it's just really all comes together so perfectly, and just love this movie.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I mean, this movie, I have a very distinct memory of this movie coming out. I mean, it was 4 years ago. It wasn't that bad. But I remember...
It was pre-pandemic. Pre-pandemic seems like forever ago.
Yeah. It was like quite a while ago. But I remember the conversation with my wife where she was like, why? She goes, we don't need this. She goes, why do we need another Spider-Man? Tom Holland is our Spider-Man. We're happy with that. We don't need this. And me and my kids were like, yeah, we want to go see this, and she was like, whatever, and she was blown away. She loves this movie. I love this movie. Everybody loves this. No, everybody in my house loves this movie. I will say that. Totally unexpected how much we were going to walk away loving this movie. Just because it was like, oh, well, it's a Spider-Man movie, we'll go see it. But it's not connected to the MCU, so is it important? And yeah, I think it's super important.
And yet it was multiverse before the MCU really started delving.
I feel like they did a better version of the multiverse than Marvel has been doing so far.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's handled so well. And even to the extremes of Peter Porker.
Or Nick Cage as Spider-Man Noir.
You got Nick Cage, you got Haley, Steinfeld. You've got quite the cast.
Mm-hmm. I guess actually thinking about it, my favorite parts of Green Lantern has always been the Green Lantern Corps and the whole like superhero team of all the different Green Lanterns coming together and doing stuff. So this actually does make a lot of sense that the appeal of a team of spider people would also have a similar appeal to me.
Mm-hmm.
Was this anybody's first time seeing Into the Spider-Verse?
I think it was mine because I thought I had seen it, but I remember a lot of the scenes. I think I was listening to it more than watching it the last
time. It's kind of a visual movie. It's not.
It really is.
Probably to listen to. Dan, this was your first time.
Yeah, I thought I saw it. I said to my son, I go, hey, we're watching it. Remember we saw it at the theater? He goes, no. And I'm like, really? I could have sworn. And then it turns out, no, we never saw it.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
So Adam says not connected to the MCU yet.
Yes.
Of course, everything comes around. Jen says, I'm pretty sure I knew basically nothing about this movie when I first saw it. I just knew the name and that my family highly recommended it. And Richard says Brian shaved and he hated it.
He always says that. He's like, whenever I shave, he's like, oh man, I have to look at your face now.
Cody shaved too, you guys. I'm just saying, I need him to pop in tonight. It's bad.
Oh.
I cannot even tell you how bad it is. It's awful.
If Adam, the only thing worse would be if Adam shaved.
Yeah,
It's true.
that would be a shock.
I'm never shaving.
Same.
We actually had a clear tie-in too between this movie and our TV show for the month.
Oh, is there a new girl tie-in?
Absolutely, there's a new
Oh
girl
yeah,
tie-in.
Jake Johnson.
Jake Johnson.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that. I was like, as soon as we started the movie, I was like, oh yeah, he's in this movie too.
I mean, the voice acting in it is amazing. It's so well done. It never distracts from the movie.
Just from like one of the earliest scenes when you see Miles just like sitting in his room with his headphones on, just kind of singing along and like not knowing all the words and just kind of like humming. Like it was all just so believable and natural.
Those Sony headphones that so clearly show what brand headphones they are.
I did not notice that.
Spider-Man?
A mild product placement. Holy girl.
Everybody.
Oh boy.
Seriously, all the phones are exploding.
Is something important happening?
An exciting time.
Who knows?
No. It's his parents.
Could be. It's a party happening right
I thought it was Eric's phone rang and you said it's his parents. I'm like, that's important. You better answer that if your parents are calling Eric.
No, I don't think there is anything happening here. So, you know, a little bit of excitement. I'm going to mute everything there. Turned on my do not disturb. All right. So I mean, the music for this movie from that first scene where he has the headphones and all the musical cues throughout this music are so well placed.
I hadn't realized. I just was watching something about it earlier today, and they mentioned that some of the soundtrack was live DJ mixed while watching the movie to get the mood right.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
The very opening reminded me of the opening of EriDan a little bit with all the different.
Less Garfield though. You didn't have the Garfield cameo.
Yes.
A little less Garfield. Yet.
There was another really cool thing I saw on something I was watching. It was the same thing actually. That I did not realize when I was watching it, but in hindsight, it makes perfect sense. When they were animating Miles as Spider-Man, they were animating. They call it animating on the twos, which means they were only animating every other frame.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the scene where they're escaping the laboratory together, and Doc Ock is chasing them, and he finally sort of figures out how to use his web slingers, and he starts swinging through the trees along with Peter B. Parker. Right mid that scene, they switched to animating him on the one, so it made him like, sort of seeming like he was awkward and like jumpy to a much more smooth, which was a really neat technique.
Yeah,
I saw them describing during one of the bonus features about that the way they got the animation style was they did hand-drawn art over top of the CG animation, which is just super cool.
Yeah.
Explains them.
I mean, there's so much in this movie that it does, like multiple viewings to catch so much of what they've been
There's
doing.
so many just throwaway lines or gags that are just like the whole. We paused it when we were watching it for when Spider-Man was this universe's Spider-Man was doing his history and mentioned, and I made a Christmas album, and they just have this track list of all these absurd, like Joy to the World, That I Saved, Silent Night, You're Welcome, all kinds of just very like silly Spider.
And the other one I noticed that I had not seen before was when Miles's dad is flipping through his phone. He's just doing a rapid scroll through his messages, and there's one you just see it for like a couple of frames. Is Steve Ditko?
What?
Yeah,
That's funny.
he's in his contact list on his phone.
It's funny.
I feel like
sorry.
go ahead, Brian.
I was just gonna say I think on the DVD they have special thing or whatever. You watch it, and they show like all of the things that they hid in the animation, things like that. And,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, it's neat.
There was another one I hadn't noticed. Again, that same video, he was going into a lot of neat details. When they're in the laboratory, before she is revealed as actually being Doc Ock, there are so many hidden clues. Everything is a hexagon. The ceiling light is a hexagon. The logo is a hexagon. Everything in the office is in 8s, which is just
a lot of really nice reveals. Like the Gwen Stacy reveal. Again, if you're familiar with the comics, you knew. But I mean, I think that was a nice reveal. I think Uncle Aaron was a great reveal. The Doc Ock was a great reveal. There's a lot in here. So I think for like my wife, who's not followed any of this before, all of this was kind of like, what? There was a lot of good moments.
And I think that was one thing they did extremely well, which is there is a huge amount of fan service, but you don't have to be a fan to really love the movie.
Yeah.
That's a tough balance to strike.
So this time watching something I had never seen before that is one of my all-time favorite parts of this whole movie right now was in the scene where they're stealing the bagel and he throws the bagel at the scientist and actually says the word bagel.
Yes.
Right there.
Yes. There's a 1 or 2 frame word balloon of bagel.
I just love that so much.
And just then is when the lady is yelling, "He's got a bagel!"
Yes.
Got a bagel, exactly.
They'll pull out their guns. Yeah.
I really appreciated like the Uncle Aaron reveal. Like that was like really, really cool. I didn't see it coming. And then when he died this time around watching it, I was like, I should have seen that coming because like Spider-Man's uncle dies and everything. Like I should.
Spider-Man's uncle dies.
But, yeah, right. But I just didn't. It just I don't know. I didn't see it coming, and I was like, I should have seen that coming.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah. Yep. It's just crazy to see like with this movie specifically. So I'm like a Spider-Man fan. Like I've always really loved Spider-Man, and so for some reason I never think, oh, his uncle dies. You know what? I just never think that way. Like for like the whole storyline in every Spider-Man thing is always like some specific person is gonna die, and I always forget about it and like his storyline. And so whenever like exactly what Brittany said, like I watched this one and I was like, no way. like the first time I watched it, that's how I felt. I was just like, what? Like it's just interesting to see like how even though it's a Spider-Man movie, even though it's like there's like obvious reveals that happen in Spider-Man, everything, this doesn't feel like a Spider-Man movie almost. It just feels like this really awesome comic book that you're watching on TV. Like it's just really cool.
What Amanda said about it being such a great comic book brought to life. The only other movie I can think of, and it's one we've actually watched on here, is Scott Pilgrim. Is another movie that does a good version of that, where it really feels like it's a comic book on screen.
Is that what that is? That movie's hard.
That one's more video game, but
I love that movie.
I know you do. It's okay. It's just a lot.
Yeah, and all of the action scenes, I'm not used to action scenes being like that colorful. I was like, because it was taking place in this crazy dimensional void. It was such an engaging and intense action scene. Like, I'm the kind of person who gets bored if an action scene goes on for like more than a minute because I was like, okay, cool, they're still fighting, great. And like I grew up watching DBZ, so I don't know when I stopped liking action scenes too much. But it was so engaging throughout. Like the movie is so rapid pace, and it's just it's
gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
even if you get bored with the action.
Yes. There's just always like a bus flying by, or like I don't know, like the Brooklyn Bridge popping up.
My wife gets very tired of some of the action scenes in a Marvel movie where it just goes on so long and it's just a bunch of fighting and flying and explosions. And
that's what killed the Matrix sequels for me. It's just endless chase scenes and
yeah. But this doesn't seem to have that problem at all. So Adam shares that the only thing that annoyed him about this was Spider Pig. Peter Parker. It's John Mulaney. It's John Mulaney. How do you hate John Mulaney?
Spider Pig or Spider Ham?
It's Peter Porker, the Incredible Spider Ham.
Right, Spider Ham.
So one of the cooler bonus features on the DVD, and I wish they had formatted it differently is this alternate universe mode. And like when you click play on the movie, it's like, do you want to play the normal movie or alternate universe mode? And you're like, well, I want to just watch the movie. But if you watch alternate universe mode, it like interweaves deleted scenes into the movie. And there's no way to watch the deleted scenes on their own, which is dumb. But they're either like storyboard or they're just like basic animation of like a lot of deleted scenes, which are super interesting. Actually, I didn't get a chance to watch through the whole thing, but I was kind of skimming through it before this for the deleted scenes. And there are a lot of like short ones, but there's a lot that deal with his roommate actually being a main character throughout it, which is because his roommate, it just like kind of pops up at it's like on a different like schedule and you never really interact with him. In the movie, after he doesn't get bitten by, or in the deleted scenes, he doesn't get bitten by the spider in the tunnels. The spider sneaks up on his back in his like bag. He gets a text from his roommate saying, "Meet me in the music room." He goes there. They like are dancing for a while. The spider pops out. They slap the spider back and forth, and eventually it bites Miles. And then later, he is after the scene at school when everything's crazy. He escapes to their dorm room, ends up stuck on the ceiling, and his roommate is the one telling him how to get down. And then they watch a Spider-Man movie that was made in universe to learn how with audio commentary by Peter Parker to learn his story of how Spider-Man works. And they learn about the relax your muscles, or he uses web slingers. And then they go out together to do Spider-Man training. Like his roommate is the one kind of stepping him through as they kind of swap between watching the movie, the two of them watching the in-universe movie, and then them trying the things, and like they make the costume together. And this is all before he meets alternate universe Peter Parker. There's this whole thing with his roommate. One of the cutest lines from all the deleted scenes is so there's a cute bit where because he doesn't have web slingers, he tries like using a fishing pole and a whip to try to sling, and that doesn't work great. But he just like tried a fishing pole, a light post, which was cute. But when he and Peter Parker are in the restaurant and they're eating burgers, and he's like, "God, this place closed in my universe 6 years ago. It's amazing." And he knocks the fries on the table and is explaining to him how the multiverse works by using French fries. And he's explaining like and my goal is to head back to my universe. I call it Spider-Man Homegoing.
That's awesome. Wow. I might have to get to pick up the DVD. That's awesome.
It's like an hour longer. There's like that much extra content.
Wow.
It's really impressive. Yeah. You can't watch it just the deleted scenes. You have to watch them in the movie. But yeah, worth checking out.
Yeah.
And Amanda's selling bootleg copies at her. No,
good side hustle.
That's awesome. That is incredible. I had no idea. That's
awesome. The video that I posted on the film festival channel, I think, goes into a lot of really interesting notes how much pressure there was to do it the Pixar way. You know, he kept talking about, as you know, most film producers are risk averse. They want guaranteed returns, and Pixar is a guaranteed formula. So they're like, all the movies. The guy was saying all the movies were starting to look the same. All the animated movies were starting to look very much the exact same look, no matter how different the plots were. And the storyboards, they would go in with these very stylized art, and then they would all come out looking like the exact same CGI. And they held their ground despite pressure to do it this way, and Sony was really worried it was going to bomb.
Yeah,
I think it would have. I think it would have flopped if they did it Pixar way.
Yeah, I do too.
Wow.
No, it was so good the way that they did it. It was because it was such a unique thing, and it was so like it had the comic book feel to it, and there was actually a couple of times. This is the first time we watched it on the nice TV that we got since we moved in here. Because this is the first time I think we watched it since we moved. And there was a couple of spots where I was like, the focus was kind of like blurred. And I was like, is this 3D? Like, I feel like I need 3D glasses right now. Like, and I hadn't caught that before, but I'm like, did we rent a 3D version of this movie? Is that a thing you can do? Like, what happened?
Yeah, they were saying they were deliberately doing it to look like a bad. There were times when, especially when they were glitching in things and things were a little out of phase. If you ever seen a badly printed comic book where they don't get the color impressions lined up perfectly,
that's
what that was supposed to look like.
Which that's what all like the 3D movies and stuff. That's what they are. It's the red and the blue, and they're off like that.
Oh, the other weird thing on again advertising the Blu-ray is that they show there's the movie. At the opening of the movie, there's a short like 5-minute comic or cartoon of Peter Porker before he gets pulled into their universe, and just like a very like slapstick cartoon of him getting captured by this like crocodile enemy or whatever. I don't remember what it is, or crawfish. That was it. And then like him going away and then getting sucked through the multiverse. And they show both him getting sucked, and then they show where there's also a scene in the movie where old Peter Parker, we see
Parker.
Yeah, we see him when he arrives in the we see him when he arrives in the universe and like lands in the middle of a shopping mall, a store without pants on, and it's very silly.
Well, the couple things. So I loved when Peter Porker hands Miles the hammer and says, "It fits in your pocket."
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, how about he said something about like that's all, folks, and then somebody was like, "Can you even say that?"
Legally, can you say that?
And then the Christmas song over the closing credits.
Yes.
There was I hadn't watched the end scene either before, so I watched that like this time. That made me giggle. Richard pointed out it was really cool the first time that they went to Aunt May's house and they were looking at all like the spider suits in the basement, and Miles walks up to it and looks at it. You know, he like it doesn't like line up like with his face, but then when he goes back later and he looks at the suit, his face fills out the mask. Like it's just like that idea of like now he's ready. You know, that was really cool.
And the fact that Aunt May was not just, Uncle Ben's widow, but she was actively involved, and apparently
she was so involved.
Yeah, she was doing real stuff, developing some of the tech and all that. Yeah.
She was like Alfred. Like Batman.
Yeah.
And there were a couple Easter eggs in there too, and they're down in that spider cave, for lack of a better thing to call it. When they're panning, the spider buggy is there from the old cartoon.
Wow. That's old stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. There seems to be a lot of love. Oh, I'm pixelated again. That's all right. We'll figure that out. Well, do we want to throw some numbers at this? Maybe. We ready?
Yeah.
I think we're ready.
I'll make my bold prediction that this is a column 1 movie.
Oh yeah, big risk there, Goober. All right. Well, as we tend to do, we have to start with the person that picked it.
By the way, we did get a comment section that Amanda's background is amazing.
Yes, thank you. These are Skylanders and Disney Infinity.
Parappa the Rapper. Yeah.
And an amiibo up there. Yeah. It's a collection. Obviously I love this movie. I'm not sure what else there is to say that I haven't already said, but just the style, the humor, the action, there's really very little I don't like about it. I'm not really sure what I could even say that I dislike about this movie. This movie's just like one of those ones I could watch over and over again, and I would discover new things every time. And there's not really moments where I get bored during it. It has really good emotional beats throughout that don't overstay their welcome, but are really like, I guess the only one that felt kind of like less relevant was Penny Parker's robot dying, which felt a little random, but like it was still sad. It was just like, oh, we have to have an extra tragedy during the big fight.
Yeah.
But like the uncle dying and it was great movie. I'm gonna give this a 99.
99.
Starting strong.
All right, Goober.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I love the movie too, and I think it does something that really good movies do, which is it surprised you. Like you were saying, Eric, you sort of went in, oh, it's another Spider-Man movie. Yay, we like Spider-Man. Let's go see it. Yeah. And it was very different, I'm sure, than what you expected.
Oh,
and yet you still loved it, and that's a good movie. And it wasn't perfect, If I were to pick one criticism, and it's very minor, is I never really got Uncle Aaron's motivation for why was he a villain. Yeah. He said, I was trying to impress you or something like that. But that what it seems sort of a little bit random. I didn't mind it. It just was a little weird for me. Didn't hurt the movie. Just struck me as a small weak point. But I give it a 95.
All right, so the love is strong. Let's go to Spider-Girl.
No, I agree with everything that David and Amanda have said. I actually watched this movie because of Haley Steinfeld. So, even though like I love Spider-Man, it wasn't one that I was like interested in. I don't know, like sometimes cartoons like not really cartoons, but I guess like Ready Player One, that's a great movie, but it gave me such a headache. And so I always am nervous about watching movies like this because I'm always afraid they're gonna make me sick or something watching them. And so for that reason, I don't get as connected to it. But besides that, like everything that they said is just so spot on. Like it's just really nice to watch where it's like, it's actually funny too. And it's not super action packed, like over the top action packed. And it's not really anything too heavy. It's just like a very bit, like it just feels like a comic book. It feels like it's like this elongated episode of a really good show is what it seems like to me. And not in a bad way. It's just really nice and it's done really, really well. And I think exactly what they said with the voice acting and all the action scenes and stuff. Yeah. And especially with Uncle Aaron, we were talking about Uncle Aaron a little bit. And I think I agree. I also don't understand what his motivation is, but it's just really, it was just a sad thing. I think that they used that to make it more sad, but like they didn't do it as well. Exactly what Dave was like, just like Dave was saying, but where it was to make it more sad, where he wanted to impress him by, you know, actually living out the role of, oh, I'm this cool guy and my nephew looks up to me, is what I think it was supposed to be. But I don't know. It's really, really good. I give it a 97.
97. Here we go into the ride, keeping in the same household.
Yeah. You're making me go.
Yeah.
Because I fell asleep in it. Anyways, I had watched it before. I had seen it on when we were chaperoning a bus trip with him as choir up to New York City, and we watched it on the way home. And I wasn't really interested in it because it was a cartoon, you know. So I'm like, I don't know. And other than the kid sitting next to me, simultaneously doing all the lines, it was really good. I was surprised. So it had a really good story to it, and the animation was phenomenal. So wow. So I'll give it a 90.
90. Excellent. A great shirt, by the way.
Yeah.
We had watched it before, like I said, and I remembered a few things, but not a lot because I was doing other things, probably reading the book or something when it was on. So I, paid attention this time. I like the animation. I like the comic book feel. All the same things everybody has said. I love the scene at the beginning when he's listening to his music. It's so in that room, except he's not usually listening to music, but he's focused on something in headphones, and you disturb him and he's like, what? So it was very, I get it. The Uncle Aaron thing, this time, I remember seeing that part the last time and not really clicking in my brain that how on earth did this scary guy come to find him in this apartment? And it didn't even dawn on me. He wasn't finding him until this time. He was coming home to his apartment. Mm-hmm. I didn't even click. So it wasn't like he was searching out this Spider-Man. He was going home. So that struck me this time. Anyway, the score that I am giving it is also a 90 because it is really well done. It's not something that I would watch over and over again. It's just not my thing, but it was really, really well done.
Nice.
All right, let's head over to Spider-Man.
Everybody said everything. I just love listening to everyone talk about it. It was great. I really love the art direction in it for sure, and the music, like everything everybody said basically. And Reagan stole my score, so I'm still gonna say it though. 97.
All right, Brittany.
I like this movie. I saw Richard's comment. I think I agree. It definitely helped me pick out like my favorite Spider-Man, my favorite Doc Ock. I really loved the Gwen in this. Like, she was super fun and enjoyable. I liked, the handprint on the side of like the hair. And then he's like, I like your haircut, and she's like, you don't get to like my haircut. Like, she just, I don't know, I loved her. She was great. She was a lot of fun. But yeah, I don't know, it was great. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm gonna give it a 90.
I think Dave's right. We might be calling one here.
B. She had another comment earlier. If you want to throw up Jen's other comment.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Another thing that makes me feel good, even if you don't know about anything about Spider-Man, is that spider people all come from different universes. So they're all unfamiliar to each other anyway.
Yeah. So you get
the only one that was completely unfamiliar to me is I don't remember Spider-Man Noir, where that came from. That must have been not at a time when I was reading comics.
And that's what I wanted to ask. That was going to be my next question. What is that from? Does anybody know?
Well, I can look it up. Google knows everything.
It's just like a bit that he always does. He speaks in the like noir voice and stuff. And like, I don't know. It's just it's a long-running bit. I don't know.
It looks like it originated in 2000.
Oh, 2009. Yeah. There was a Spider-Man Noir comic, it looks like, from 2009. Yeah.
I mean, it's in the video game too. Like,
it's like you're taking Spider-Man and putting him in Captain America type of genre, putting him in World War II.
Nazis, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now we'll go over to me. What can be said that hasn't been said?
Right.
One of my big things I love is this something I would watch again? And there are so many things I missed, I'm sure, that I'm 100% going to watch this again. So that increases my score immediately by 4.7 points.
Or no points.
Well, I always round up, so that'll be a 5-point increase. And when I carry the one, blah, blah, blah.
Eric did say there's going to be math.
Yeah.
That's right, he did. I'm going to go with a 94 on this one.
94. All right. Excellent.
We don't have Adam yet, but we do have Eric.
Of course, Adam always comes in last. But
Pixel Man.
I love this movie. There's something about this movie. I will say a lot of the movies that I feel like are perfect are the movies that as soon as they're over, I can watch them again. Like this movie, I love this movie, and I have so much respect for what it's done. But it's the kind of movie that if I see once a year, I'm happy. I don't instantly feel like, ooh, I could go put it on again. But that's a pretty high praise for me for those kind of movies where I get so sucked into the universe that I just love every line of the entire movie. But this movie, I feel it is a masterpiece. Just it is so well done. The music is so spot on, and I love the fact that it feels so young, but it doesn't alienate older people who are in love with the genre also, who love comic books and love that movie. It has such a great appeal. So I think it's fantastic. I'm going to hop on with Reagan and Brian and give it a 97. And so, and Adam is in the comments and points out that there will be a sequel coming out in June.
How about that?
23.
Spider-Man 2099 will be in the sequel.
There you go. So there is.
That was the other thing I sent out on the film channel was the trailer for that sequel.
So I need Adam's score. We'll see if we got Adam's score. And if not, while we wait for it.
In there.
Oh, that's right, Richard. Where's Richard's score?
It's in there. He said it made him.
He's in there.
PlayStation 4. He has Spider-Man. That's like super. So it's really like I don't enjoy those kind of video games, and I like took the controller and was flying around.
The score is PS4.
That game is amazing though.
Richard gave it an 80.
Yes.
Let's watch the Notebook next.
Fried
Is it an 80? I don't see. Where's the score? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
80. Wow. We're gonna have Richard as the lowest score. I don't know that that's ever happened.
Well, we haven't gotten Adam's score yet.
We know Adam likes it.
Adam likes this.
Yeah, but
Adam likes.
Oh yeah, Adam loves
Holy
this.
Cow.
Boom.
Wow.
Good job, Amanda. You picked a good one.
That's rare, boy.
It's a rare honor.
That's crazy. Yeah. All right. I'm going to do some math. You guys talk among yourselves.
Well, now you're the one doing math.
I'm always the one doing the math. It's going to verify that
You let
I've
the
done
computer do the math, I figure.
more or less. Yes. Let's see.
Well, I don't know what I'm going to say.
Oof. Oof. Oh my.
Oh my stuff.
Wow, that is some math. Hold on, wait a second. There.
Sounds like exciting math.
It's pretty exciting math here. Here we go.
How high is
Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. If you can believe it, the number 4 position.
Wow. Ooh, Back to the Future safe.
Look at that, bumping out.
I was going to say.
Pride.
Ooh.
And Shawshank Redemption. 5.10. Nicely done. Wow. That is a beloved movie for us there. That's awesome. So, wow. All right. So we're gonna before we move on, I'm gonna bring up this is really nerdy. So prepare yourselves, and if you're on a small screen, prepare not to be able to see what I'm about to bring up on the screen. Because since the beginning, probably for the past 118 weeks, there's been a discussion like, well, gee, I wonder what it would be like if we dropped the highest and the lowest scores. And so I took the time to do a little math. Let me see if I can make that any bigger there. If I zoom it in like this, here we go.
Forrest Gump moves into number 1.
Now, obviously, this was not affected by Into the Spider-Verse, but I'm happy to say that dropping the highest and the lowest scores from every ranking, for the most part,
it doesn't change it that much.
1 to 5 places on the thing, with a few notable exceptions. You will notice Joe versus the Volcano jumps from a score of 70 to 18.
Oh man!
Whoa!
Yeah. Fargo Fargo rises from 21 to number 10. Here, I'll scroll through. You can see I've highlighted those that have had mass improvement. School of Rock would have gone from 64 to 31.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Everything with a lighter color moves between 10 and 20 spots. Stardust would have moved from 75 to 48.
Wow.
Just see, most of these others are moving pretty, so you can see how many positions they've changed on the right. Ferris Bueller would have gone from 41 to 71.
Wow.
Major drop. Yes Man gets a pretty good bump up from 107 to 86.
What happens to Somewhere in Time?
Somewhere in Time. Let's scroll down to Somewhere in Time. And you can see Somewhere in Time goes from 138 to 137.
Yay!
Wow.
We're up one.
And most interesting, Mixed Nuts and Howard the Duck would switch places.
Whoa.
The heap.
Sure.
So there you go. I will post this spreadsheet on the Facebook.
That's so
If
funny.
anybody is that nerdy to want to look over in detail the effects of this, but mostly you can see on the far right-hand side, most things are only moving 1 to 5 spots.
Single-digit changes. Yeah.
Change.
Interesting.
Surprising.
We will continue with our current charts based on these results. But I thought you'd all be interested.
That is fun.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to work on that?
Yeah, I had a little insomnia, and so I was up from about 1:30 in the morning to about 3:30 in the morning to get all that together. So,
Oh my gosh.
That's all. That's incredible.
A couple hours, Yeah, I'm a nerd. What are you gonna do? So it is time to pick another movie for next week. All right, so I'm going to throw some names here on the wheel. If there is anybody who is unable to participate next week, this is your time to yell out your name. So I don't include you on the wheel.
Richard says his next goal is to pick a movie that Stacy would love.
Oh,
Wild
That's
Wild
hard.
West.
David.
How dare you?
Look at that wheel.
There's the giant spider robot is cool though. Like,
It's an awful
Oh
movie.
yeah.
I am nowhere near the Wild Wild West TV series fan that Stacy is, even though I really liked it. But that movie is an absolute mess.
Maybe someday we'll get to see how bad it is. All right. We'll spin the wheel. We're next Monday. Is that correct, Dan? I believe we are.
Yeah, we're still Monday.
Still on Mondays. So for next Monday, our movie chooser picker of the week is going to be it's gonna be I see Brittany.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, give me a minute. I'm between two, so let me
Okay.
just see. I think the one is only available to rent, so that might make the choice.
You have a loud keyboard.
Probably change things a little
Oh,
bit.
sorry.
She
It's a
types
clicky
insanely
keyboard.
fast too.
I can't use blue clicky switches. They drive me nuts.
I don't know what color these ones are, but they're yeah, this one's only available to rent. Dag nabbit. I might pick it anyways.
Yeah, I mean, $3 or $4 isn't going to kill anybody.
No, I know.
We can put up with
And
that.
the library might have it.
And the
That's
library might have
Always
it.
available, mostly available from your local library.
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
I'm so conflicted. All right, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna pick the peanut butter falcon.
Oh
That was a
yeah.
good one. I like that
I
one.
like that one.
Okay, good.
Oh my. 2019.
What an awful name.
Wow.
It was so good.
Look
So
at that.
sweet.
Doesn't mean it's not a great movie. I can name some really great movies like The Shawshank
Shia
Redemption
LaBeouf?
with terrible names. So.
Shia LaBeouf, Dakota Johnson,
Yeah.
Thomas Hayden Church. Wow. There we go. It is available for rent from all your regular renting type places.
$3 from Amazon, not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Wow. 2019. I never even heard of this movie.
Is that our most recent movie?
Oh, do we now? Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Yes, we do. Let me take this down and let's
Is it Hairless Cody?
it could be.
Did it right. No, I didn't do it right. I just missed it. There we go.
Ah!
Oh wow.
Yikes!
You look fine.
I look like I'm 12.
No, you don't.
A little bit.
It's so bad, you guys.
No, it's not. You look
Sisters, man.
Who
No,
wears
literally,
better?
everybody
wears
on
the
his
face
Twitch
better?
is making fun of him.
Yep.
I can see
Brian
Brian
looks better with no hair than I
Thank
look
you.
with no hair.
I like to shave sometimes.
I don't like to shave.
I hate shaving.
I like
Why
to
did
trim.
you shave, you weirdo?
We're not going to talk about what.
Look at Adam is like, why?
Cody, you look good.
Why?
First off, Adam, because I can't grow whatever that is growing from your hair or like from your face. I can't do that.
I could if it, but it'd take a long time. I don't know.
No, this is probably like one of the first times that Adam and I have agreed on something. It is so bad.
Well, we got a full Brady bunch.
Full, we got the
we
full,
did.
Whoa! Yay! Wow.
got the riders in the center square.
No.
Oh, and Stacy gets to be the
Paul
maid.
Lynn.
Gets to be Alice.
I love Alice.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Ann
who's
B.
in all
Davis,
that?
she was wonderful.
She's married.
She lived in Ambridge for a while.
She did.
Yeah.
She was involved with Wade's school where
Yeah,
he goes
she
to
even
school.
Took classes at my school I go to.
We are just name dropping.
Did I hear this correct? The movie for next week is Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
correct.
All right, I'll be watching that.
How bad. I've never even heard of this movie. I'm
I
sorry.
haven't either. Yeah.
It's
It
really
makes you
cute.
cry. It's so good though.
Oh, that Brian will hate it.
down
Brian will
with
hate
the
it. It's gonna
points.
lose all the points from Brian.
Oh.
It's okay. I'm prepared.
I think Adam might be out too. You know, if it's a tearjerker.
Well, it's Adam, so I don't expect his score to be high.
Who here has had Whataburger before?
Haven't you?
Wonder Burger.
No.
Did you, guys,
Wait.
do you guys know that it's a thing that you're
Never mind.
supposed to try and steal with these?
No,
Yeah, I stole one.
No.
I think you're just a criminal.
Yeah.
Oh,
I saw an IHOP.
my friends from Texas told me that if they ever forget your thing, you're supposed to take one and only one because it's just a souvenir now. So I took it.
Hmm.
I feel that same way about luxury cars.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Whataburger's logo is the same as
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman and the Wing Point golf course here on the island. It looks just like it.
And Willy Wonka.
I had a cat named Whataburger once.
What a kitty!
He was. It was a stray cat. We were in North Carolina. I was doing Habitat for Humanity over spring break, and the cat hung out every day, and so we named her Whataburger because that was the first time any of us had ever been to a Whataburger because we were all from up here going down south. So
I think In-N-Out's better. That's just me. That's what a
Enjoy a
hamburger.
good Wahlburger.
Wahlburgers are good.
I've never been there either.
That's only a Northeast thing. I think there's not a whole lot of them, right?
We have one in
I'm not sure.
Robinson.
There's one fairly close here, about
there's one in
20 minutes
Pittsburgh?
away. Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
There's one by the airport.
Reagan, when are you coming to visit?
Where are you at?
Texas.
Well, I got to go to Phoenix first, but
We'll come visit once you grow your hair.
Which one? Which hair?
And as soon as there's a Comic-Con with Zach.
yeah, I'll be there for that.
Well, that's true.
She's already done that. That's a lot of money. You don't need to do
I
that.
would do it again.
I would agree with you, Adam, that Whataburger is vastly overrated.
I don't know about that.
Or In-N-Out, excuse me, In-N-Out is vastly overrated. That's what I meant to say. That's
I
what
do
you
agree
wrote.
with that. I do agree with
But
that.
it's overrated to go twice in the same week. But if you haven't been there in years and you go, it's the most amazing thing. And then I'm like, okay, I don't have to do it again. I almost brought them home last time I was in LA. I almost bought a bunch, put a bag in my carry-on and brought them home.
There's a Whataburger right across the street from where I live, and it's bad. It shouldn't be that close.
Oh, it's not bad. It's bad having it there.
See, I'm just happy we got a new Harbor Freight going up close to me. That's more interesting.
Oh, we just had one open by me, and I'm like, oh.
Currently, I have to drive like 25 minutes to get to Harbor Freight. That's too far.
I've never been to a Harbor Freight.
I have to drive an hour to get to a Best Buy.
Harbor Freight is the Sephora for men.
I just always assumed they sold heavy items for the harbor. What do I need a buoy for? What do I need?
They sell cheap Chinese import tools.
Right, and they're all Pittsburgh brand, which I love. It makes me feel homesick.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh brand made in China.
Yeah, actually, we're pretty good. That reminds me, I got to text the guy and tell him where his Pittsburgh wrenches are at.
It's as long as you're careful what you buy there, you can get really cool tools cheap. But some of their tools are total garbage. You have to be careful what you buy.
Yes. They say if you're going to rent a tool, just go buy it at Harbor Freight. It's about the same price as renting. And if you break it, who cares?
Yeah.
As long as the job is done before you break it.
Yeah. And they have specials that are insane. I almost bought a cement mixer the other day because it was $200. I'm not making cement.
Wow.
All right. I'm out for today, but I will see you guys next week.
All right, Cody.
Keep growing it. Come on.
So Eric,
Bring it back.
I like your Avengers stuff. All right, he's gone. All right, so now he's gone. Let's talk about him. No, I'm kidding. Let's instead talk about what you've been watching. So, what else is going on?
I just want to start right off the bat by thanking Dave for last week mentioning Counterpart. I watched all 2 seasons since last week.
All 2.
Holy crap! Is that an amazing show?
It is a great show.
A 3rd season planned, but even though the way it ended is good enough.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a complete tie-up every loose end ending.
Right.
But it's a reasonably satisfying ending for a show that maybe didn't have the chance to completely end.
Yeah. They tie it's kind of like the end of the season of 24. They tie up everything from that season and then give you a little nugget for next year.
But it wasn't a complete cliffhanger type of thing.
Yeah. Because I did wonder why James Cromwell died.
Oh, spoiler.
You won't even recognize it's James Cromwell.
I
recommend it.
That's all right.
And I really love James Cromwell's one of my favorite actors. He's always interesting.
Yeah.
Was he the guy who made your dad?
Who?
I first remember him as Stretch Armstrong on All in the Family. That was where I first saw him.
He was the dad. He was the dad in Revenge of the Nerds.
He's been in some great movies.
Wow.
Was he
But
in
no,
Major
Major-
Dad? Did he play the commanding officer in Major Dad? If anybody watched that,
I'm not sure.
I never
he was in
watched.
Babe. He was in Babe.
Yes, he was.
Okay, that's
And his original first credits, he was Jamie Cromwell.
Ah,
And Dave, he went to school where you went to school.
CMU.
Yeah, he's a CMU grad.
And I remember he was in at least one other movie we've watched. I can't remember on the film festival. I can't remember what it was.
yeah. It wasn't that long ago. I don't think. Either.
Yeah, let me see. I'm
Might
looking
look
through the
him
list now.
He was he won the Emmy Award for Outstanding Actor in a Limited Series of American Horror Story, Asylum. Oh, he was in 6 Feet Under.
Ugh.
And he was actually in a season of 24, Dan. Interesting thing.
Yes. First movie was Murdered by Death. What a way to go.
Oh, man.
Bruce
That's
Willis.
is that the Neil Simon one?
Let's see. Played. Yep. Written by Neil Simon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Murdered by Death. Great.
Yeah.
It's not like
That's a
out
weird
of
movie.
that's not like Out of Death with Bruce Willis, is it?
It sort of reminds me of the Clue movie in some ways, Murder by Death. It's just a weird, everybody in a mansion murder type mystery. A really, really surreal comedy.
Oh, he was on an episode of the Rockford Files. If we want to go way back.
Oh, he's been in tons of stuff. He's been all over.
Three's
He's been on
Company. He
Star
was
Trek
Detective Flanagan.
This guy.
Yeah.
The White Shadow.
Major Dad.
Yeah.
I'm looking for Major
I
Dad.
wasn't poor Wade in this.
It wasn't
movie.
him. It was John Cipher.
He was in
Ah,
Jake and the Fat Man.
Sugar. Upcoming series
He-
is going to be in.
He's the guy who glued himself to a bar or something in protest of something, isn't he?
Yeah, he's an activist.
Yes.
Good on.
Oh, he was in The Man with Two Brains.
Ah, that was
Of
a
all
long,
of his great movies, he was in The Man with Two Brains, and that's the
that
one
was
we
a
watched.
long time ago. That was the movie we weren't supposed to watch.
Yeah, that was the movie that was picked accidentally.
Uh-oh.
He was.
The person thought they were picking All of Me, a different Steve Martin movie, and they picked The Man with Two Brains.
Oops.
Steve Martin, what a guy.
It happens.
Edwina Beckenbauer.
Beckenbauer. Oh, your weekends are nothing but football now, huh, Adam?
Adam says my weekend's nothing but football. I don't say, Dan, I know Dan was going through a big pilot phase where Dan was watching a whole bunch of pilots, and so we actually watched a pilot yesterday that I haven't watched probably since I first saw it. And just a snippet here so I don't get booted off. But
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
that's hilarious. Oh,
Mary
Mary
Baxter
Baxter. Oh.
Meredith Baxter, Bernie, Bonnie
Bonnie
Franklin,
Franklin.
right?
Shelley
wait for it,
Novak.
wait for it, wait
Wow.
for it. There it is. Got some Suzanne
Oh.
Summers and the Sykes.
Victor Flymaster?
Wait, it's coming. Jimmy Walker. There.
Jimmy J.J. Kid Dynamite
Oh,
Walker?
yeah. It was
I think I've seen
fantastic.
Dynamite.
That used to always just hit me. I used to roll whenever he was on Letterman.
Oh, yeah.
The best career decision ever made by a mediocre comic, when he had Dave Letterman as one of his writers on his series, and Letterman paid him back year after year after year by after his career was in the tank, always giving him a venue to come on and stay relevant.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was
Because Letterman used to say, so you're doing this young urban hip show, and you're inviting this white guy from Indiana to be one of your writers.
Amazing.
paid off for both of them.
Yeah.
We
But yeah,
finished
Love
obviously
Boat
Lord
does
of the
not
Rings
hold
about
up
it.
as much as you would think, and it doesn't.
I wouldn't think it held up.
Oh man, it's really something. It's really something.
All right. Can I share something real quick?
1977. Go ahead there, Dan.
No,
No, thank you.
just
Exclusive to our viewers.
Uh-oh.
I will not show a picture of me because I look ridiculous. But last night we filmed part of the sitcom, and Hold on. Where did it go?
Gotta love the Peanuts kids shouting.
I think you need a better laugh track. That wasn't great.
That was awesome.
Why am I so big? Oh, there we go.
There it is.
So
You know,
the actress
yeah.
playing Leah. I don't know if you guys can zoom in or if I can zoom in. If anybody
can zoom in.
recognizes who that is.
Grab the little thing at the top of your screen. There you go.
What was it?
Anyone?
She looks vaguely familiar.
I know.
Stacy, do you recognize her? It's
Is
not
that-
Debbie, it's not Debbie Gibson.
Is it Salil Moonfry?
Oh, she does look like her a little bit.
A little bit.
No, but the clue is it's not Debbie Gibson.
Tiffany.
That's Tiffany. Tiffany is playing Leah.
You know, that's awesome.
Yes. Because
That's
remember
awesome.
we had friends that were Debbie Gibson people, we had friends that were Tiffany people.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, there you go.
So we filmed that yesterday.
Cool.
Wow.
Has anybody watched the new Pinocchio yet?
No.
The only
I'm
thing
afraid
I've seen is some
Pinocchio.
clips from the trailer, and I got to admit, Pinocchio looks really good in the trailer, and Jiminy Cricket looks creepy.
Oh, I've heard it's really bad. Like, really.
Richard and I were going to watch it, but we just haven't watched it yet.
I'd be interested in hearing your review.
I'll let you know. We were busy. We finished all the Hobbits and Lord of the Rings. So we were a little bit busy with all that stuff. And then yeah, we did we watched an episode of The Real Ones with John Bernthal on YouTube. It was him and Shia LaBeouf, and then both of them. I didn't know John Bernthal was in the Peanut Butter Falcon until I was looking up if it was available to watch anywhere, and then it showed him on there. And then they were both in Fury too. So I'll be curious to see them in the Peanut Butter Falcon now that like I've heard a little bit more from that episode of The Real Ones.
Wait, have you seen Peanut Butter Falcon before?
Yeah, I've seen it once, but I didn't really know who John Bernthal was, and I hadn't seen Fury yet either. So
that makes sense.
Wasn't he on The Walking Dead, like the first season?
I never watched Walking Dead.
No.
Yet.
Same.
Yeah.
So I watched Guys and Dolls for the first time. That was fun.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! The first time.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
First time.
I never watched it.
The movie,
I
I
know. I was like, how have I never seen this before? Marlon Brando and Frank
but that
Sinatra.
to me, I really enjoy the movie because I love the play.
Yeah.
My only problem with it is Marlon Brando can't sing.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's old. He seems old. He's not old.
Yeah.
He seems old.
And he's a good actor, no question, but he just can't sing. He's
It's
sort of
hard
like,
to sing.
you know,
It's hard
Pierce
to sing and
Brosnan in
stuff
Mamma
like
Mia, or, you know.
Oh.
Oh, that was bad.
I
So,
loved it.
Brian,
I loved
now
it so
that you've
much.
seen it, that you've seen it once, you will see it a jillion
Everywhere
times
you go.
in different
Everywhere.
forms,
Yeah.
and you'll never want to see it again.
Oh, okay. All right.
We've seen it at so many high schools.
You
They
scroll life.
all do it.
Yeah.
Well, now
Falls did the
that's
best.
one of the things that we were thinking about. I was thinking about earlier because, like, you know, recently all the musicals have been Annie, or like there's been some Anastasia, and then like some people have did Matilda, like all this weird stuff. Next year, our school is doing SpongeBob the musical.
Wrong choice.
Yeah.
If you could get a cameo from David Hasselhoff, that would be perfect.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Awesome.
SpongeBob the musical.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the best scene from the SpongeBob movie is when I'm David Hasselhoff.
Baywatch, like
Yeah.
runs down the beach.
Oh
No,
my.
that's good. I was sad I can't audition for Patrick. I want to do it so bad. It'd be so fun. I want to walk in and be like, I'm ready.
I think you should do it anyways.
I kind of want to. I heard not that many people were auditioning, and I kind of want to walk in and be like, hey, like, can I do this?
You said it's high school?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
that's my only concern. What I would think the high school kids would think
Oh, this is-
SpongeBob is too young for them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
They don't
I was
want
like,
to do it.
Interesting
Yeah.
choice. Like, there's so many good
Iconic.
musicals they could do, and I don't know.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, I hope it's fun regardless.
So, Brian, I'm sorry I interrupted you when you were
That's all right.
talking about the movie. What did you
Oh,
think?
I loved it. It was so
Good.
good. I
What's your
can't
favorite
believe I didn't watch it before. What did you say?
WK, I absolutely love Nicely Nicely, and you know, Sit Down, You're Rockin' the Boat is one of my all-time favorite songs from any musical. It's just great.
What was your favorite part, Brian?
Oh, I don't know. I just love the whole thing. I really like the scene. I really like the scene where they're in. Is it Havana? Is that what it was?
Little Havana.
They were and then there was this like bar fight and everything, and they were. I loved that. That was great. But,
Sweet Milk, yes.
I just love like all the songs. Like sometimes in musicals, I just don't like some of the songs, but like I love all of them in this one. And like I watched Chicago not too long ago.
So if you like,
it made me happy. Yeah,
One emotion
I wasn't
you love
sad
to feel.
at any point. So, yeah. But no, I watched Chicago before this one a while, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and I was just like, you know. But this one was like, yeah, so good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have we gotten a recommended episode list yet for New Girl?
Oh no, I can do that for you.
Thank you.
I'll make it happen. I don't know. Just watch them. They're great.
Start at the beginning.
Any of the ones, if it's got Megan Fox in it, though, not great. Don't.
I'm not a Megan Fox fan. I agree with that.
Is she even acting anymore?
He didn't add anything to the show at all. Yeah, I'll get you an
like
episode.
Shia LaBeouf.
That's
Not like Megan Fox. Transformer people.
She did not add anything at all to the show.
I am not a Michael Bay person either, so you know.
I want New Girl directed by Michael Bay. That's what I'm waiting for.
So you want a lot of explosions and no cut longer than about 3 seconds?
That works for me.
Is David Hasselhoff in it?
I want nothing but David Hasselhoff. Like, can they do a Don't Hassle the Hoff channel?
Oh, I heard somewhere that Rick Springfield is touring with somebody right now.
Yeah, he just toured with Men at Work and John Wayne.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've been plugging through Raising Hope, and we watched the one that Dave recommended.
The Rear Window one?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was so
really
fun.
good.
It was really good. And we just I went out of order to watch that. We've been watching them in order. So I went out of order because I was by myself and I had to rewatch it with them because it was that good. And it was hilarious that she's just wearing this evening gown that she got.
Yeah, when she poses in the gown, and then when she's going in and she does the twirl.
I know.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, there's so many lines that he said too. He'd be like, "Honey, don't do that," and I was like, I love that the way that he says the lines, because like I've watched it. I know what he's saying is not actually his character saying it. It's the guy being like, "I'm going to say this, and it's going to be funny. It's from this movie." You know what I mean? Like, it was just so funny. I loved it.
We watched one tonight. It was when they thought that Hope was going to be a serial killer. He wakes up to the dream, and then she kind of scurries by in the fog. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. It was so funny. It's a good show. I wish we did not watch it all the way through at all. I don't think we made it through the first season when it was first run, even though we liked it. I don't know what kept us from watching it. I don't know, kids or something. I don't know. So
It wasn't me.
All right, I'm going to blow through a bunch of Adam's comments. He's been talking quite a lot in the comments, and I feel bad he's been left out of the conversation. He just points out that the new Pinocchio has bad reviews.
All lies.
The new Del Toro Pinocchio that just came out. Then he says he's the best Punisher, and he'll never see it.
Guys and Dolls he'll never see. Yeah.
And then he said people are losing their minds apparently over the Little Mermaid live action trailer, which the trailer looks unbelievably wonderful. Like it really does. Whether it's all good.
She sings beautifully.
And then he likes Schmidt. The rest of the show, no thanks.
Schmidt's amazing.
Schmidt is great. That's fair.
Adam is caught up now. I'm caught up, Adam.
All right. Adam should join in. We should see his face.
He's watching the same game I have on over here.
I did weirdly out of nowhere just because the TiVo recorded it for suggestion, and I just decided, I watched it actually over 2 nights, separated by a week. But I hadn't seen Shrek since when it first came out, so I watched Shrek again randomly, and that was both. It held up as a story as well as I remembered. The animation was a lot worse than I remembered it being. The animation is really not that great. And that
But-
isn't just the age; it was how they chose to do some of it. It really kind of looks awkward and stilted. It's still a fun movie, but it just surprised me. My memory of the animation was a lot better than it turned out to be in reality.
Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
Waiting for Donkey Show.
I'm gonna go back and watch The Boys some more.
How far are you in The Boys, Eric?
I'm only like episode.
You finished
4.
it, Eric? That's right. You finished it last week. Yeah.
My house.
Yeah.
I like episode 4 because I got sidetracked by
Counterpart.
God, it's so good.
Yeah, I figured you'd like that, Dan, because it's not time travel, but it's in the same basic space.
It's very close to Fringe.
Yeah.
Wait, so how does this TV show thing, like sharing TV shows, work? Because I know a guy.
Oh yeah, you haven't been here when we've done TV shows.
Oh.
Eric and his TikToks, man. You just. How old are you?
52.
Does it matter? Does it matter? I have an affinity for what's happening with the youth. Gotta keep up.
It's just every month there's a wheel spun, and if your name comes up, you get to pick a TV show that is the TV show of the month. And all that means is you're responsible. There's a couple of caveats. It can't be something that has a long, protracted, dramatic arc, so you can't just watch a handful of episodes and get anything out of it. So you couldn't pick 24, for example. That really wouldn't work as something you're only watching less than 10 episodes of.
You would not be able
It
to
has to
have
be
a
available to stream
conversation after
somewhere.
a few weeks of watching it. That would be fair.
And you have to be willing to recommend at least a handful of episodes that people should watch.
Yes.
And then at the end of the month, the last EriDan Film Festival of the month, we just discuss it.
Yeah. We don't do this thing about what else you've been watching. We instead talk about that TV show.
So we've done Seinfeld,
The Monkeys,
The Monkeys,
and Raising Hope. And now we got New Girl.
New Girl. Yeah. So your chance to get some exposure to shows you've never seen before.
Yeah.
But it also has to be streaming somewhere. That's one of the other things.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I was like, Chuck Bartowski, just kidding. I could just buy the DVDs and like send them out to everybody. You know, I could do that.
Chuck
Bootleg
is
that along with
streaming on HBO.
Copy Spider-Man.
Oh,
And
good
yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be all set.
I got a handful of episodes for Chuck. I'm good.
I'm on the 3rd season right now. So. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm
It's
making my
so
way
good.
through.
It's
It is
so
good, yes, for sure.
I've been watching it at night sometimes.
Yeah.
I've already seen it like 10 times, but
in 2 years.
So 3 is that
In 2 years.
is that the season with Timothy Dalton? 3?
no.
No.
Mm-mm.
Just be quiet. Just be quiet. No spoilers for Brian. Shh.
I was just gonna say that's a really good season.
Yeah, it is.
All right. I watched the trailer of the Little Mermaid thing because it was it's talked about, so I just watched it.
I haven't seen the trailer yet, but I've seen some bills.
I think that was the first movie that made me cry.
Oh,
when
no.
I was very young. Yes. When I was very young.
Got the feels.
I did. I was so sad that she had to leave her dad. I cried and cried. Yeah.
The first movie I remember crying and shedding a tear during was It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
Mine was the Justin Bieber movie.
Wow.
That's the first
I think
time
I
I
need
was
some
crying.
explanation.
Yeah.
Right age for that, yeah. Oh my word.
I was like,
Mine
oh my
was Grease 2.
Grease
too?
What's the
No.
reasoning on that?
It wasn't.
Oh,
The first movie I ever cried at was called Sunrise, and it was like a TV movie about.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before.
I know, an autistic kid. It was SONRISE,
Mm.
and all of a sudden he started talking.
Wow.
I bawled my eyes out. I was probably
Moved to
7 or 8
tears.
years old.
The
Mine
first
was,
movie I ever.
I think mine was Zapped with Scott Baio.
Yeah. or Weird Science, maybe.
Maybe.
The first one I remember crying during, and I cried at like every movie now, so I don't know if this was actually the first, but I very much remember Toy Story 3. I ended up seeing it in theaters 3 times, and each
can see
time
that.
I still cried.
Yeah.
That one was hard.
Yeah, it was with them just like all holding hands as they're going down.
Yeah.
Like it was a rough.
Well, I have 2 different levels because, and I know this has happened to other people too. Once I had kids, my bar for crying changed. I cry a lot more easily now than I did before I had kids. So
That makes
if
sense.
movies that I cried before I had kids, they really moved me because I was not as emotional then.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have kids, but I helped raise my niece and nephew, so I guess I can see that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they do something to you.
Yeah, it rewires
sure.
the brain in some weird way.
Sorry. They make you
Yeah.
watch Dexter. That's what they do.
While they're sitting in their Spider-Man onesie.
Exactly.
That's right.
Mhm.
That sounds like a perfect
Yeah.
night.
The first thing I cried at was Little House on the Prairie. That was the first time I remember crying. That was,
The
but
episode
then,
where
you know,
Michael Landon cut his hair.
no, I don't remember which episode. I just remember I was about 12, and that's when it started. Just the waterworks started, and my sister used to pick on me because she wasn't crying at stuff yet. So, yeah. And then I realized when we watched it every day after school that they cried in every stinking episode. The Paw Show crying.
Something I forgot to bring out earlier is, as my dad pointed out when they came over to watch Spider-Verse yesterday, I actually have a Spider-Verse picture hanging in my bathroom of my house.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
That's a really cool picture.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sitting around eating pizza.
Whoa.
Hanging in your bathroom.
Yeah, my downstairs bathroom, just so everyone can get in the, I don't know, get in the good spidery mood.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Right.
She has
Like
all kinds of cool stuff
Bob in
hanging
the
all around her
bathroom.
place.
That's
Her
amazing.
stairway going up to her second floor is all places she has visited, countries she's visited, cities she's visited. Very cool.
Very nice.
Really cool. The next time Amanda will be joining us from her stairwell.
Yes, it'll be a lovely. I'll just, yeah,
I'll be sitting like this.
be lounging on the stairs. Yeah, it'll be good.
I do like that you already have Halloween behind you.
Yeah, they're. I mean, you know, they're year round. These are my ghosts. There's Kyle, Lyle, and Miles.
Very
Miles
cute.
Morales?
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah, more tie-ins.
Yeah, it's a tie-in. Yeah, it's all,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that
all
was.
well planned.
Yeah.
It is interesting because growing up, you know, when I was a middle school, high school kid reading comic books, it was the Peter Parker era. I mean, there was just one Spider-Man.
Yes.
So, you know, with all of the variants that have come across, it's interesting because the idea of, I mean, I realized that in some DC did that a little earlier, where they would change characters around and have different people occupy the same hero. Never really saw that much in Marvel. There was a few. Their Human Torch was one that changed, but there weren't many.
Mm-hmm.
What I liked about that, because I was a little skeptical of there being different Spider-Verses, and but seeing Stan Lee in this, I was like, okay, he's
Yeah.
okayed it. I will respect it because of that. So not just because, but it just made it good. You know,
It was a cute Stanley cameo.
It really was.
Like
It's very well done. Yeah.
Yeah, with the suit. Yeah, it always fits.
Eventually.
Yes.
True.
No returns, no refunds.
Yeah.
ever. Oh,
But it was good having him just like running around in like a Spider-Man onesie from like a Halloween store for like the first half of the
With the
movie.
little
like a,
thing
like a
tied
cheap
in the
Halloween
back.
costume. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, with the guy at the speech being like, yeah, we're counting on you, and Miles being like, they're counting on me, and the guy behind him, it's like, I don't think he meant you specifically. I think it was like all of you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, I just received a link.
Oh.
So if you're looking for a good Christmas present for next year, available.
Man,
for-
the bobblehead.
Is there an equivalent site called Stop Manilow?
No, I think. Oh, come on.
That's
even
actual
looks kind of
size.
used. I don't even understand.
You're flipping us off?
It looks like it.
I think he's supposed to be.
Oh.
See, I think
This one looks more lifelike. No, the other one.
Oh, the other one. Yeah, that's more lifelike.
I think that's what you're supposed to be saying. Is that
It's such tan. Like his hair and skin are basically the same.
which
color.
one has more plastic in it? It's hard to know.
I can't believe he's still around because, like, I had a poster of him in 3rd grade.
Well, that was only like 10 years ago. So, you know.
Well,
he writes the songs that make the whole world sing.
World thing.
music.
He is stuck on Band-Aid brand.
He wrote that, yes. Like, and he's like a good neighbor.
And
State Farm
McDonald's
is there.
did McDonald's one.
See?
He's
How about that?
It's
pretty
And I
exciting.
didn't know that till he was on some talk show. He's
Yeah,
playing
he-
all of his tunes. I'm like, you're kidding me. I know.
Well,
his
the
concert too.
interesting,
doesn't
so
he
the
remember?
interesting thing about that medley, so if you don't know, Barry Manilow would perform a medley of commercial jingles. It turns out that the jingles were all songs he was associated with. So some of them he wrote entirely, some he sang on, some of he helped compose the arrangement that was used in the commercial.
Okay.
It was kind of a misnomer that he wrote all of them.
So
but
he had his hand in all of them.
he had
And
his in a lot of these songs.
The biggest irony is of all of his songs,
Yes.
one of his most famous songs that he didn't write is "I Write the Songs."
Yep, he didn't write that.
He did not write "I Write the Songs."
No.
And
The one I
it's
was
not
like, it isn't Barry Manilow, but Paul Williams, who wrote "We've Only Just Begun," that was a big hit for the Carpenters. That was written as a jingle for a mortgage company.
Wow.
It was a couple buying their first home, and it was "We've Only Just Begun," and it became a huge hit.
And a huge wedding song.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Oh wait, Adam's gonna be coming to Bainbridge this Saturday. Oh, oh yeah, we have a comedy show. with Dean
First
Edwards.
Tiffany and now Adam Jones.
So I'll be seeing Adam live, and the show is careening off the rails.
No, it's not. We are on topic.
We're right on track.
Who says the show has to have
Beaver County?
the show doesn't need rails? Come on.
I don't think I realized that Tiffany was in Ted 2. Did you notice?
Tiffany is
remember
Judy Jetson.
Well, yeah, she was Judy Jetson in the Jetsons movie as well.
Yeah,
And let's not forget that she was in Mega Python versus Gatoroid.
with Debbie Gibson.
Wow.
Oh man,
Is that a Sci-Fi Channel one?
Yes,
That would be a sci-fi channel movie if you
He
ever
couldn't quite make Sharknado.
have an hour and 30 minutes to kill and you want to watch Mega Python versus Gatoroid.
Oh, she's the lead in it. She's just in the cast. She and Debbie Gibson are the
oh, yeah,
lead.
they're the lead characters.
Oh yes.
There's a fight scene.
And Mickey
I think
Only
I
she
might
was-
have seen this. Yeah.
Is she Mega Python or is she Gatoroid?
She's Team Gatoroid, I think.
Woo. Yikes.
And it turns out she's like really good friends with Rick Astley.
Wow.
They tour Europe together.
Wow.
Nice.
And her "I Think I'm Alone Now," "I Think We're Alone Now" song is in a McDonald's commercial in England, and so it's getting this huge resurgence right now over there.
That's funny.
Yeah.
God.
So we went.
1987.
We went and saw Jennifer Waite, who has one song called
Jennifer
Crush.
Page. Jennifer
Jennifer
Page.
Page.
Yeah.
And then oh yeah.
Oh, cat fight. Ooh.
This is what you paid to see when you watch Mega Python versus Gatoroid. Was the big fight scene between Tiffany and Debbie Gibson.
Was there any
Maybe
chance there was a
they-
lawsuit from Gatorade suing them over that title?
Yeah, that's how Jerry Lewis says Gatorade. Gatorade.
Oh, bring in the stunt doubles.
Yeah, they're the
You
stunt
have to
doubles.
film the fight scene from the back because they are all stunt doubles.
My gosh.
It's a classic. It's a classic.
That's
Speaking of
hilarious.
stunt doubles, how much of Harrison Ford is actually going to be in this new Indiana Jones movie? Because the guy has got to be.
He seems very excited about it, though. Did you
Yeah,
see
he
him?
does.
We'll probably dig him up somewhere.
I like to pretend that the last one
doesn't.
doesn't exist.
Well, the Crystal Skull's awful.
I like to pretend it's not even a thing.
It's number 4 out of 4, which is not saying much considering how questionable 2 is. So
that brings us back to Shia LaBeouf. So Harrison Ford is 80.
What?
Wow.
Yep.
That's weird.
Huh.
I just watched a couple funny videos of them, like on the Mike Douglas show, like when Star Wars first came out, and he's like, it's him and Carrie Fisher and
Mark Hamill.
And Mark Hamill. And Mark Hamill's talking about, yeah, it's the first time I'm playing a good guy. Like I'm always like the drug dealer or the bad. And I'm like, what was he in before Star Wars? He was like 12.
Was there ever a more stiff talk show host than Mike Douglas?
Oh, he was horrible. The only thing stiffer than Mike Douglas was his hair.
I mean, maybe Tom Snyder, but that was a different kind of show. Yeah, Dan Aykroyd did a wonderful Tom Snyder.
Tom Snyder did a wonderful Tom Snyder too. But yeah, I was.
No idea who you're talking about.
Mark Hamill was on General Hospital.
He was on Chuck.
Kid.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah, he's always a bad guy.
It will be Goyd. What's Goyd?
Goiteroid. It's going to be Goiteroid versus Mega Python.
Why do you think it'll be good, Adam? 4 wasn't any good. 4 was awful.
I didn't know there was a 4.
You're good.
You're better off.
Just pretend that that's still the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. How did I miss that?
Oh, come on. It's not.
What year was it?
I don't know.
Oh.
They brought. I can't spoil it. Never mind.
Okay.
2008. 2008.
Really? That's how I missed it.
Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
It's awful.
Okay.
Shia
Was Harrison
LaBeouf.
Ford still in it?
Shia LaBeouf. Yep.
Why is Shia
If
LaBeouf?
Billy Crystal were in it, I'd watch it. But yeah,
Billy Crystal. Yeah. So it was.
What a guy.
Yeah, we went.
best Oscars host of the last 30 years. He was wonderful.
Yeah, and he never got slapped.
No, he never got slapped. That's true.
Yeah.
Didn't even get slapped with a lawsuit.
They did ask Chris Rock about hosting again. He said no.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, it's like a kidnapper asking the hostage to come back. And that was the analogy he used.
Yeah.
Very quickly for the Steelers fans, boy, that kicker from Cincinnati is probably out of work this week.
Well, part of a lot of the problem was the snapper. They didn't have the regular snapper, and so the timing was all off.
All right, I bet that snapper's out of a job this week.
Oh, I saw that.
That was one of the wildest. That was a game that should have ended at least 4 times before it finally did.
And for Cincinnati each time.
Well, the Bungles lived up to their name.
Yep, they're the Bungles. Radio killed the
Come on, they almost made it to the Super Bowl last year.
I know.
They did make it, didn't they?
No.
Mm.
No, yeah, they did make it to the Super Bowl.
They were in the
That's right.
Super Bowl last
Did
year.
they?
Yeah,
Well,
it was
won the Super Bowl.
LA beat them.
This is the first time since, was it 1990? This is the first time in decades that both teams that appeared in the Super Bowl lost their opening game the following season.
No.
For those of you who don't want to defend the sport.
You know what? I'll take it over.
I was looking up Indiana Jones while the sports talk was happening. So
the Crystal Skull is just horrific.
It really was though. Like I just don't like it.
It's not a good movie. Nope. The thing is, something, even though I keep bringing it up, Stacey, sorry, The Wild Wild West, I didn't expect to be a good movie, and it was a terrible movie. I really had hopes for Crystal Skull, but it was just awful.
I had high hopes for the Wild Wild West movie and was sorely disappointed and was looking around at the other. We were at the drive-in. It was the first time we took Reagan to the drive-in. She was 3 weeks old. And I'm like,
started early.
Are you people seeing this crap? And nobody cared because nobody understood. No, because they were kids, and I was like 30 and they didn't know. And they,
to me, the deciding factor is if you had never seen the TV series, had no idea what it was, just were going this as, oh, look, it's a movie with Kevin Kline and Will Smith. It still isn't a good movie, but it's certainly better than it was when you think of what it was based on. Because it's any sort of based on the TV show, it's just completely flipping it off. It's just,
Yeah, Adam, how about them Saints? All my S teams might win this week. I haven't had a 3-0 S game.
Who's playing tonight?
Right now, it's the Seahawks in Denver.
Okay.
Russell Wilson's back in Seattle for the other team.
Yep.
Seahawks up 17-10 with 48 seconds to go.
That was like Baker Mayfield going back and playing against Cleveland and losing.
I did fantasy football this year. I'm going to lose horribly. I picked a kicker second round, which is a big no-no.
See, Adam becomes interested when we talk about this, and Eric is just like, yeah, sure, sports, whatever.
Sorry, you talk among yourself. You're good.
I think Eric just hit his pixelated button again.
He's been pixelated for about an hour.
He's been off and on. Yeah.
What do you think caused it, Eric? Let's discuss this for a minute.
IT time.
I think it's my software that's uploading backups of my hard drive.
Oh, okay.
And I think that I thought I had paused it, and I think it has unpaused itself.
It's getting smart.
Yeah, so I think
that's
Skynet. So and because I have an enormous amount of files that I'm backing up for the first time, it's going to take 6 months or so to finish the initial backup. At which point, then it'll only back up newer files. But until I get the initial backup done, it's hogging up a lot of my bandwidth.
You know, Dan, I don't wish the Seahawks any ill, but those are the ugliest uniforms I've ever seen.
I hate when they wear the bright greens. Just a revenue grab. Come up with a different version so people can have another shirt to buy.
I was watching.
It's like watching a '60s black light. It's like you're in Spencer Gifts, and they've got the black lights on everywhere.
I was watching the Indiana Jones trailer, and it just looks like a bunch of like recycled footage, basically. Like I just stopped it. I was like, nah. From the other movies.
Snakes.
Yeah. It's a teaser.
It's not great.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But,
33 seconds left in the
I will probably be finishing my Seinfeld rewatch this week. I have entered seasons 9.
That's the final season.
Did you see the link I posted in the film festival about the article?
I did not get to read through all of it.
It's an interesting article. They were talking about, because once Larry David left the show, how they completely changed the way the writer's room was run and all of that, how much it changed.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it feels different. I feel like season 8, while there are some iconic episodes in season 8, as a season as a whole, it's weaker than some of the earlier seasons.
Well, I mean, it's every show jumps the shark eventually, unless they just go off the air too early too. Because like the Goldbergs is an example of a show I used to love and is now just cruising on fumes.
Oh, they killed the dad.
Well, they didn't have much choice.
Well, they could have cast him somebody. They could have done the Darren thing.
Mm-hmm.
The Crispin Glover in Back to the Future too.
Put him upside down the whole final season.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm still enjoying it. Obviously, I thought even the weaker episodes are still good episodes, but there's less of that. Like, I what I've always said is that by this season is where all the characters are more caricatures of their former personas. Everybody's dialed up to 11. Everybody's doing the most wacky, wild things.
Kramer is crazier than ever. Kramer. And
yes, right.
Cosmo Kramer.
Everything is. George is more George than ever before, right? And so all logic and reason has gone out the door.
Right.
But, still enjoyable. Still get some really good episodes. Still get the yada, yada, yada and the Serenity.
Most shows don't make 9 seasons, so what are you going to do,
Exactly. So there's one episode that was pulled from Netflix from season 9. For the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Episode 20 of season 9 is not on Netflix.
That's because he catches the Puerto Rican flag on fire and stomping on it.
Oh my gosh.
I would probably get blocked. Yeah.
Do that. So yeah. So but yeah, I have a feeling by next week we should be wrapped up on this.
That's almost as offensive as throwing paper towels to people in Puerto Rico. Tammy pops in and says, "No soup for you."
Oh, there you go. See, that was
making
season
fortune
7,
on-
I believe. Yeah.
Where have you been?
Fortune on Cameo.
Yep.
He's got the worst cameos of. You want to pull one of those up, Eric, real quick?
What do you got?
Cameo of the No Soup for You guy. Larry, what is it?
He's doing those? I didn't know he was doing those.
Oh yeah.
For a while, you could get his soups in the frozen section at the supermarket.
Yeah.
He has come to Steel City Con.
Yeah, he was here last. He was here when we were there.
Yeah.
Was he? Yeah, see?
I assume you mean the actor and not the guy the actor was based on, not the character who was the real folk man.
Right.
John Fetterman on releasing felony murderers.
Well, Pennsylvania politics for you.
Yeah.
And then a soup Nazi. That would go.
Targeted ads. They're from,
Man, you
Yeah,
know.
Meanwhile, the
I'm
guy
tired of the political ads. Yeah.
You, but you can get a cameo, a personalized video message. The online platform lets fans request recorded messages from
Inside Edition.
$80 a pop.
Hey, Larry Thomas here. Love to do a video shout out for you and your loved ones and your friends.
The fee jumps to $200 if you want him to put on the white chef coat.
Get your holiday cameos right now, or no soup for you.
Thomas won an Emmy for playing the unforgiving soup stand owner.
You know something? No soup for you. Come back 1 year.
Fans are
1 year.
Cameo's CEO says he may not have been the star of Seinfeld, but his character is iconic, and now he's stealing the show.
No soup for you.
This is Inside Edition Digital.
I did like that joke from Into the Spider-Verse when the Peter B. Parker is up. Okay, now wait, he's going to say, you've got 24 hours.
You got 24 hours.
You know,
That was really well done.
The thing that was funny with what you call it, Peter B. Parker was the TV show 7 Days. There was a time travel show. I think it was on UPN. That's how long ago it was. His character was Frank Parker, and then for some reason, it became Frank B. Parker. And I think they might have had some issue with somebody named Frank Parker was like suing them. So all of a sudden, he was always introduced as Frank B. Parker.
Maybe that was part of the joke.
Must have been.
Interesting.
All right. There's
All
the
right.
law.
Is that the all right? That was the all right law. Well, I know, and I believe Brittany is headed over to Twitch. So if you'd like to hang out with Brittany a little bit more tonight,
I'm gonna be there too.
And Brighter Man, where Brittany, how would they find you on Twitch if people were interested in finding you?
Hold on.
All right, yeah, give us the deets.
Just put the comment in the comment section, and I'll pop it up.
Oh wow! How
There's
about
the
that?
link for you. I don't know if you can pop it
Throw
up.
that
but
up.
I'll just do this.
You'll probably have to copy and paste it.
You gonna do?
There may or may not. I cannot. I don't know what the plan is yet. There may or may not be the giant pink sparkly poop hat.
Oh,
To the stream tonight. For
I'm not on
special
video, so
Brian's not on video. You just hear his voice and watch
That-
some dialogue. It's
That
fine.
had me think of another comment from the video I watched. They were talking about how Into the Spider-Verse single-handedly rescued Sony Animation from the shame that was the Emoji Movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was such a bad movie.
That's fair. That's actually more than fair.
Sweet.
Wow.
All right.
All right,
It's
well, there
so
we go.
easy. It's so easy. How could you not join?
Look, we have it on all the different channels.
Wow.
Next week's all about peanut butter.
ah,
Oh,
Yes, it is.
I like it.
That
I
is
like
not the Beaver County Library System. It is available at Geneva College Library.
Oh.
Who would have guessed on
All right.
VHS? No, I'm kidding. Not on VHS. It's on reel to reel. It's on microfiche.
What did we watch?
It's worse. It's on beta.
Reagan, what did we watch it on?
See you Saturday, Adam.
Adam's like, yep, I'm done.
All right. Good night, everybody. Have yourself a wonderful and
Good
safe
night.
Next
We will
Monday.
see you- Dan will see you on Plus Radio.
No,
We'll
no
see-
Clutch Radio this week or next.
Oh, well,
no,
then there you
no,
go.
this week. We already did a rewrite. No Clutch Radio this week. We're filming more this week.
I'm so confused. All right. We'll see you back here Monday. Good night.
case I don't see you. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.